Alright, hey guys, this is TsubakiSwagg and I'm coming to you with my review of Terraformars episode 10, Wish. And this episode, it was so freaking sad and awesome and epic and just appalling all at the same time. So first off, of course, it picks up where the last one left off at. I thought that Adolf was dead. Of course, I think most people thought that Adolf was dead because he used up so much, I will say, he used up so much of his life force to take out the King Jesus Roach that he was just like laid out on the ground, and Eva was like slouched over him, crying her eyes out, calling out to him. And it turns out that, like, they showed the roach get electrocuted, and it was pretty much like, because they didn't really understand the concept of lightning, they weren't scared away by it, and the King Jesus Roach got electrocuted, and I thought he was dead. He looked pretty bad, but another roach walked up. Like, all of them had like turned around and were looking at the King Jesus Roach, and another one walked up and started like pounding on his chest, and he eventually came back to life. And they were like, the narrator was like, there's two ways that you can survive being struck by lightning. And they were like, the roaches figured out that inevitably the blood would start circulating through their body again, so that way they would still be able to keep living. And while that was happening, the roaches began to carry off everybody again, and Eva was still crying over him, and he like wiped her tear away and was like, he told her, pretty much told her to run away. And he got up and he was about to attack again, and all the roaches were coming towards him, and it was epic. Like, he couldn't get up, but Eva stood up in front of him because all of the roaches got like machine guns and were about to shoot them. And he stood up. He was like, I have to protect everyone. I have to find the cure for this virus so I can go back home and I can stop living a lie, blah, blah, blah. And then he made like a dome of lightning while all the roaches were shooting at them. The bullets literally were just bouncing off, which I thought was so freaking epic. Oh my goodness, I was not prepared. Adolf is amazing. Like, he probably is my favorite out of everybody I've seen so far. Adolf is probably my favorite, and he has the most history, so he deserves to be well liked. But he deflected all those bullets, and then after that he was about, like, he looked like he was about to give up on life again, and Eva was there to protect him. And they started, like, the roaches picked up rocks and were little boulders almost, and were heaping them at them. And Adolf jumped in front of Eva and shielded her. Like, he pretty much used himself as a human shield, and the rocks were taken out, like, took off his hand, took out like a chunk out of his shoulder, his head, everything. Like, after they had finished throwing them, Adolf fell to the ground, and Eva like cried out to him and was crying, and it was just so freaking sad. So then it was like, I'm not gonna leave you, blah blah blah, because there was a part, like, Adolf said something to her, but we couldn't understand what he was saying. And I'm pretty sure he was telling her that she needs, after this is over, she needs to run away, she needs to get away, blah blah blah. And she said she wasn't gonna leave, and she held him until, well, first King Roach Jesus came up, and he looked like he was about to take Adolf away, and the other roach came up beside him, and then they heard a beeping, and the roach started like foaming at their mouth, and then they all literally like scattered. They looked like real roaches at that point, crawling up the walls trying to get away from Adolf. And we realized that Adolf, because I believe he is from Germany, they didn't want their research to get into the wrong hands, so they planted a bomb in Adolf's body. So it's like, really, dude, really? So They even showed like I guess the director of the division he's from, and she was talking to this boy, and then they showed this part. Just made me so freaking happy. I was so not prepared for this part, but they showed Adolf's wife called because she had gone to the ATM to get money, and she called his branch and was like, I was calling to confirm Adolf's money transfer into the account, and they were like, there's nobody that works here that goes by that name. And then they hung up on her, and I was like, yes, finally some meager restitution to this woman who was just so freaking hateful and did all this stuff to him and was still expecting stuff from him. So she ain't getting no more money. She's gonna have to do something herself, which made me happy, made my heart sing that that she finally got what was coming to her, because Adolf wasn't gonna do it because he's too nice, which is awesome, but she used it for her own purposes. So she's out of the picture now, and Eva was like, I could never leave the man that I love alone. So she literally held Adolf in her arms, and everybody around them were crying, and so like they had smiles on their faces, and you see this big white light, and like first they pan out so you can't see anything, of course. So I mean, I believe that means that there's a possibility that they're all still alive. Maybe it was like a flashbang or something, I don't know, but showed this huge white light, and the people in Michelle's division, like Akira and everybody, they saw this and they confirmed that it was from Division 5, I believe. So they know that it's Adolf's division. So there's a possibility that Adolf and everybody else is dead over there. And then they show another division, they're fighting all these roaches, and we're going to see some awesomeness coming up in the next episode. Like, I'm so ready to see this next episode. It looks like it's going to be pretty freaking epic. So, as always, I would love to hear how you guys felt about this episode. Do you think that Adolf is really dead? If not, I would love to hear your theories about how he could possibly still be alive. No spoilers for people who do read the manga, because I've heard that there's a possibility, but I'm not absolutely sure, and you can't quote me on that because I have no clue, because I have not read the manga. So, as always, please remember to comment, thumbs up, and subscribe. It helps me out a whole lot. And as always, this is TsubakiSwagg saying adios.